In this video, I'm going to go over why I chose L'Esprit Academy, some pros and cons, and if I would recommend it and why. So stick around. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and I'm glad to have you. I'm Leslie with Brilliant Aesthetics. So let's talk about why I chose L'Esprit Academy. In order to really understand why it was L'Esprit for me, I have to talk about the scheduling and the financials. The course availability that was offered was full-time and part-time. Full-time was from 8:30 to 4:30, Tuesday through Saturday. That's 35 hours a week for 4.5 months. And part-time was from 5:30 to 9, Monday through Thursday. That's 16 hours a week for 9 months. Working full time, that part-time schedule sounded really good to me, and that fit what I was looking for. So next, the financials. This was really the biggest reason why I chose L'Esprit. So tuition was $9,700. There was a $50 enrollment fee, $1,200 for kids, books, and tuition, which we didn't get a physical book. We got an online book, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, in uniform, and then a $15 state registration fee. So that totaled out to be $10,965. I did qualify for a financial aid, and that totaled $6,267. So for tuition over the 9 months that the course was, I would pay $4,698, and that leveled out to $514.77 a month. That was actually very manageable for me. Now, had I not gotten the financial aid, it would have been a different story. I might have had to take out a loan or do some postponing of actually going to school to make sure that I could afford the payments. So I was lucky that I did qualify for the financial aid. What also helped is we did get 2 Pell Grants throughout the course. I did not expect those to come in, but they did help a little bit. So I did put those back towards my tuition. And that was, again, mainly the 514.77 was a good reason for me to say, let's do it now. That was, again, manageable and affordable for me. So if you've never visited the L'Esprit campus, just so you know, there's 2 campuses, one in Royal Oak and one in Canton. I attended the Royal Oak campus because it was easier for me to get to, although I live right in the middle of both. L'Esprit teaches cosmetology, manicuring, and aesthetics. What I liked about the Royal Oak campus was that there were 2 floors. The main floor was the salon floor, and the manicuring students and cosmetology students were on that floor. And then downstairs, there were a classroom, couple offices, bathroom, and a break room. So the classroom downstairs was for phase 1 aesthetic students until you've got your hours to advance to the main floor, which was, I believe, 300 hours was that mark. And that way you were easily accessible to work on the general public as well as friends and family. All right, into the thick of it, pros and cons. My cons about the school are really more on an individual basis, not necessarily like the facility itself. One of the first, all right, time to get into the thick of it. Pros and cons. I didn't have a long list. I didn't want to draw this video out too long, but my cons are not necessarily on the school itself, but more on an individual basis. And by on the school itself, I mean like the building, the facility, the location. Those were pros for me. My classmates might have a different story to tell you, but these are from my experience. So my first con was instructor retention. In the first 3 months, 2 instructors quit. When that happened, we got a full-time day instructor to teach our part-time night class. So what made it a little difficult was that she eventually left us too. She said she was just being pulled in too many directions and that they were messing up her pay. We then had another instructor who didn't really seem like she wanted to be bothered with us. And so she didn't stick around with our class too long. She didn't quit right away. She did eventually quit, but she didn't quit right away. So if they needed her as a backup, she did fill in sometimes, but it was very, very few and far between. We eventually ended up with a schedule of being on campus twice a day, or I'm sorry, twice a week, and online distance learning twice a week because they just didn't have the instructors for us. So we finally got two consistent instructors that seemed like they cared. We went back to distance learning, being on 1 day a week. That whole experience changed the trajectory of how my experience at the school started going. My next con is I think we had about 6 demos over the course of 9 months. We had a rep from Dermalogica come a few times. She was amazing. We had a beard and wax demo that came after we had already been waxing and clearly using that brand of wax wrong. Understand, each brand of wax has different ways to use it, different temperatures to melt, different techniques that make it work at its full potential. Yeah, learned that after the fact. When I tell you we went through so much wax prior to that demo, they could have lined that up a little better. And then we had 2 makeup demos. I don't know, like I said, again, if that's a lot, but it felt like there could have been more demos that covered more of the things that are within the scope of what estheticians are allowed to do in the state of Michigan. Granted, there's YouTube University and, other licensed estheticians teaching courses. However, you get in the mindset of, I paid to go to school. Why didn't I learn this in school? So, that was just something for me to think about. Another con is the laundry was on the students to get the sanitation and maintenance MPAs. Now, I'm not complaining about doing laundry. Everybody in my class knew Leslie loved doing laundry. I'd rather do laundry than do a facial. But what I'm going to complain about in this instance is, again, it was manicuring, cosmetology, and aesthetic students. Everybody had different color towels, white towels for aesthetics, black towels for cosmetology, blue and green towels for the manicuring students. Laundry would be overflowing as if nobody did laundry for days. That was annoying, especially when you would come in and think, or actually have a facial scheduled and you can't do a facial because there is no clean laundry. That got really annoying. My last con is going to be about the book work. You were pretty much on your own when it comes to studying the book. They said our distance learning days were for book work, studying, asking the questions. We had got down to one distance learning day. There were no in-class discussions to go over the chapters that we were on. Some people were ahead, some people were behind, some people were right on track. And it was just like, well, when you're ready to take the test, take the test. Now, they told us too that our on-campus days were for doing practical and getting those MPAs taken care of, which were needed because we needed 75 facials. I was in a class with 3 ladies after the first 2 months because out of a class of 7, that's what was left. There's no way we were going to get 75 facials on each other. No. But it was just, that was not the classroom experience I thought I was going to get. But when it did come to book work, like I said, we were on our own. We took the test when we were ready to, and boom, bing, bang, boom, we were done. But I did hear that things at Canton was a little stricter, but I guess that also depends on your instructor. All right, enough about the bad. Let's talk about the good, the pros. For me, the first pro was location. Location is everything. Who would pass up an opportunity to be in downtown Royal Oak? It was many great places to hang out before or after class or even during lunch. We did get a lunch break, so we had our little favorite spot of where we go to get our lunch or our salad and come back and have lunch together on campus. But it was such a nice environment. The only downside to being in Royal Oak though was parking. I parked in the parking structure, which at max I think I spent about $2.75 a day. If you tried to park on the street, it was anywhere upwards of $6. And don't go a minute over, you were getting a mailed ticket probably a week to a week and a half later. So that's one thing to be conscious about is parking. Canton campus, you've got a wide open free parking lot. You don't have to pay to park, you just get the spot and that's yours. One thing that I didn't like about the Canton campus though is the school is on one side of the parking lot and the salon is on the other side of the parking lot. And I guess if it's your salon day, you just park on that side. And if you're on campus, it's classrooms, studies, you park on that side of the campus. But if you had to run back and forth, that just seems like it would get tiring or exhausting really quickly. Let me see. I did state that I love the layout of the Royal Oak campus. The space just didn't make you feel claustrophobic like you were on top of each other. You had room to spread out. So that was pretty good for me. Another pro is I think we had access to great products, and Dermalogica is what L'Esprit uses. That's what they teach. That is their foundation for, facial products and skincare. And when the Dermalogica rep came in and talked to us about the ingredients, I was more comfortable using the product and product selection. Now, while we didn't get physical books, we did get the Milady SEMA program. I still use it to this day. I did purchase my own books while I was in school off Amazon, the Standard Aesthetics and Fundamentals. And I believe that cost me about $150, maybe $160, again, from Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll link it down below so that way you can access it. It's been a minute since I've seen the books together on Amazon for purchase, but I'll look, and like I said, if I can find it, I'll put it down. If not, I'll be putting separate links to each book down below. All right. So another pro with the Milady SEMA app is you do get that for 2 years after, I believe it's up to 2 years after you graduate, which is really cool. But I'm a, you know, book in hand kind of girl. I like being able to hold the book, flip the pages, highlight, leave notes in the margin, add sticky notes if I need to. So that was really the main reason for me getting the book. And I got the book for a lifetime. I got the Milady SEMA app for 2 years. All right. So overall, would I recommend L'Esprit? Yes. It's affordable, flexible, and you have options on locations. I don't fault the school at all for the instructor turnover rate, except for one. And again, that was the one that came from, being full-time day to then teaching our class part-time at night. I felt like they did take advantage of her. But I get being an instructor and dealing with so many personalities. It's not for everyone. But with that, I do have to say, remember, we're all adults. And even though we're adults, when we step into those facilities, we become students. We have to understand that we are there for a purpose and let that purpose be the reason that we succeed, make it work. See something, say something, allow the school to fix the problems you may see. And if you don't see them taking action, you can always call state board. I don't hesitate. If things are just out of whack, call state board. And this is with any school, with any facility. There's a standard that they have put in place. And if the school is not following it, it should be reported. All right. So with that, if you have any more questions about my experience at L'Esprit, Leave me a comment below, like and subscribe to see more content as I work on getting better about putting out content. If there's something you want to see on this channel that revolves around the aesthetics, please let me know. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until next time, stay brilliant. Bye.